Chad, have you been arrested anytime soon?
It's 4 o'clock Eastern, Hutton. We are live, baby. Here we go. I've not been arrested any time recently.
Not
Never
hot
been
water
arrested.
for Chad. Hot water for Tyreek Hill. I mean, what else is new? At what point does it become, there's too much going on there behind the scenes? Same for Isaiah Bond as we get ready for the NFL draft. And, well, we have What is Withrow watching? That's straight ahead right here on Hot Mic. While you're here, we hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe to the OutKick YouTube channel. So the investigation is closed. Tyreek Hill is not going to face charges. He's not.
Okay.
It is closed. But what is not closed is any potential opportunity that the NFL may take for a violation of the personal conduct policy. So for those who haven't seen that he was facing charges, Armando Salguero has the story at OutKick.com. He begins his column by saying, let's cut to the end of this incident before everyone's blood pressure goes off the scale. Hill was not arrested and will not be charged. Okay? But he says, while the investigation is closed, any potential threat of domestic violence or police being called out for what they perceive to be a very disturbed situation, well, that could be a violation, especially if you have a history with the league.
Yes,
already.
which he does.
2024, the start of the season. He's pulled out of the car, and that became the narrative of Tyreek Hill in Miami for the 2024 season. By the end of it, he'd quit on his team, and he's talking about he wants out after the year. Now he's starting the offseason back in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. And while he's not facing charges, here is the 911 call where Andy Slater played this cut on the Andy Slater Show.
This clip starts with Tyreek's mother-in-law talking to, I believe, Tyreek, and then the 911 operator.
You're not going to do this. You don't push me. You push me in my video. Yes, you did. You crazy. And I don't care. I'm saying. I don't care. Now they're blaming me for calling the police. They might.
It's okay.
try to beat me up.
You did right. You did it.
So he's trying to calm it down because he knows he's going to lose his career over this. I mean, where are y'all? Girl, I'm so scared.
So this was a phone call that went on for more than 10 minutes that Andy Slater played a clip of and then posted it on social media. Chad, that's the mother-in-law calling on behalf of her daughter, who is soon to be the ex-wife. They're getting divorced. That's not good. We know that just by listening to it. The NFL is not going to take that lightly with the history of Tyreek Hill. And at some point, don't the behind-the-scenes problems, even though he's not being charged with a crime, that doesn't just exclude him from facing any consequence from the NFL. We haven't seen this a lot recently from Goodell. Violation of the personal conduct policy, right? Deshawn Watson comes to mind. But with Hill and the history, Goodell can lay the hammer down if he wants to. And that's within his right.
Yeah, and it raises the question, at what point does someone's problems outweigh their talent and their ability?
Right.
Because we know how talented Tyreek Hill is as a receiver, and he's a very good one in the NFL, and he's got game-breaking ability. He also has law-breaking ability, and he's shown that time and time again. And this is not – look, I'm willing to give someone a pass. They're a one-time thing, and they're better from – okay. And then maybe, a couple times, right? This is like reaching Pac-Man Jones level timeline of incidents going back to college with his pregnant girlfriend at Oklahoma State, right? There's a number of issues over the years, and just, for lack of a better word, stupidity from Tyreek Hill. And I think a lot of that was on display with the interaction with the cop and everything that went down there. So, I mean, I know the answer, and the answer is if you're allowed to play in a league and you can help a team win, someone's going to pay you to play on that team. That's the way the NFL works. That's the way every pro league works. But it does beg the question, does enough ever become enough for the Miami Dolphins? And I don't know that we're close to that, Hutton, but you have to at least ask the question.
Yeah, I think we are because he's already saying, go ahead and trade me or whatever he was saying.
Yeah.
Now, last offseason, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't we discussing him like he injured the threat, the
yeah, it was like a social
was,
media influencer that he tackled and injured,
broke
her leg, right?
Yeah, that's what was said. But he was saying like it was just aggressive or something, like it was something that was asked for, and I don't know. The whole thing is bizarre. There's always something going on
during a football drill.
There you go.
The woman, Sophie Hall, who's a social media influencer, I got that part right, filed a lawsuit. This was not in criminal court. Filed a lawsuit claiming Hill forcefully and purposely shoved her after she humiliated and enraged him during a drill. Hill's lawyer claims the lawsuit is a scare tactic to get Hill to pay Hall's medical bills.
Yeah, shoved her, and then in this you can hear the mother-in-law claim that that's what happened while she's whispering on the phone in the clip that we heard. Yeah, I mean, the NFL's looking at this. Have to. And Armando said, Armando's covered the Dolphins for decades prior to joining OutKick. He says, hey, the Dolphins need to do something about this too. He's told us before on the show on Thursdays, he's surprised the Dolphins haven't already done something about, the threat of Hill not wanting to be there. Like giving out the deuces sign at the end of the season. And the way that he treated the locker room on the way out by, quitting on the team.
And also, you just can't, what I don't like to see is when a league or a team does nothing.
Yeah.
And then, you're going to take part in all these big anti-domestic abuse campaigns
right.
for PR purposes and donate money to this and that. And then, I'm fine. Look, donate money to good causes.
And there's no charge here. But
I'm great with that.
You're right.
But
I'm with you on
I
this.
hate the hypocritical nature of that, where we stand, we back women, we support women, we're anti-domestic violence, we're donating to all these initiatives. We have players going to this gala and that gala to support this. But then when you hear, as an organization, a 911 call, as terrifying as that one, from the mother of a woman who is married but separating from Tyreek Hill, one of your star players, if you do nothing about it, then I don't want to hear about all the initiatives you're taking and how much you care about domestic violence. That's all I would like. Either do something and stand by it and make your actions as strong as your words in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Let's also say Armando brings up a great point. Instead of we're discussing the league, he's discussing the Dolphins. And he writes this: because the Dolphins have made a habit of excusing all of Hill's questionable behavior. Why are the Dolphins in the bullseye? He's talking about with him. Because players understandably came to Hill's defense during the season opening run with the cops. Several teammates en route to the stadium parked their cars on the side of the road. Johnny Smith was one of these, and tried to support him on the spot there. Coaches similarly supported him later, and he was not disciplined that anyone is aware for his questionable handling of the situation. The end of the season episode, meanwhile, is an embarrassment. And so is this. Here we are. The same will be asked about Isaiah Bond, who turned himself in on an outstanding warrant. Texas wide receiver who, is second or third listed wide receiver based on where you look in the mock drafts. First round pick, first round talent, potentially. That now, because of legal issues, right before you get to the start of the NFL draft, if he falls to the second round, people are going to automatically point to this. There's no doubt with all the background checks that go on with the league, Chad, teams have probably known about this longer than we have seen it public. But Isaiah 007 Bond on social says, regarding the accusation against me, I would appreciate the time and opportunity to defend myself, and I prove the claims made patently false. I'm in full cooperation with the authorities and will remain a willing and active participant in the investigation. Unfortunately, claims like these prove to be harmful to all involved, absent full review. I agree with him there. I kindly request that all reserve judgment until the authorities provide a complete report based on truth and evidence. Humbly, Isaiah Bond. I agree with the sentiment of the statement, but there was an outstanding warrant that he had to turn himself in for. He clearly wanted to do that before the draft. You just don't want to do it at this time. So, innocent until proven guilty, all that. But we see a similar circumstance with an incoming wide receiver as we're discussing what's going on with Tyreek Hill a veteran who, helped Kansas City win their first of, 3 Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes.
I always see something like this that happens right before someone's about to get drafted, and I just think, boy, the timing. Right? Like, I have no idea if he's guilty, innocent, whatever. But no, I immediately start thinking about, man, this incident went down at what exact time, and as you're finishing a season or done with a season and you're prepping for the NFL draft, this is the biggest job interview you're ever going to have.
Again, sexual assault allegations here.
Right. Like, NIL is great for moneymakers for certain players in college, and they make good money now, but this is the biggest job interview you're going to have. That could be a pinprick based on what Isaiah Bond as a high draft pick / NFL star at wide receiver could make over the course of his NFL playing career.
So, okay.
And the timing of that leading into that process is damning.
Now, here's where the two situations are different, but why they tie together. Hill, we have the audio of the mother-in-law calling on the 911 call. Here, we have another situation where I think you see Isaiah Bond's name in the news, and you see sexual assault allegations. And we've seen this before play out over the last several years with players. And then there's no evidence whatsoever to then tie back into any of the allegations being true. But it does hinder the player of, actually being innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, because it's going to live on Google forever.
Right.
You're going to see if there was an allegation. Rarely do you see the follow-up.
I agree with Isaiah or whoever wrote this statement. Full cooperation, good. All that's good. Unfortunately, claims like these prove to be harmful to all involved absent full review.
Yeah.
Totally agree. So I want to see this play out. But in the meantime, so do the teams. So what do you do if you're entering the league with something like this? And what if the allegations are true? What happens there? What do you do if you're the league? Who was it, Chad? There was a player who was potentially going to face league discipline as a college player coming into the league. Terrell Pryor. This is a ways back.
Oh, yeah, the tattoo scandal.
Yeah, and there was like retroactive. Now, that affected him.
Yeah.
But to this point, nothing affecting Isaiah Bond. He's got to make sure the teams know the full reports here.
Well, that's just what. So going back to, and that is a good statement by his attorney, his representation about, absent of a full review, these things have harmful side effects.
Oh, by the way, he runs a 4.21. That will get him drafted high.
And now it's on the teams. So now it's on everyone to do their own research with Isaiah Bond and decide for themselves what they think about him and what they think about the allegations or whatever it may be.
And why does Tyreek Hill stay on the Dolphins roster? Because he can run 4.3.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
By the way, Tyreek Hill and Isaiah Bond not in the same ballpark right now.
No, that's what I'm saying.
In terms of
they're very fast. They have.
There's a tie in here about the two different things to me is Tyreek Hill is a problem off the field. You know it. Right. Everybody knows it. Going back to why he fell in the draft to begin with to Kansas City, the dude is a problem. He's proven himself to be a problem off the field. You got that situation, how Miami, but he's also proven himself to be a good NFL player. Isaiah Bond is not yet. He's trying to earn the right to prove himself as an NFL player. Now he's got this allegation against him, and now every team has to decide for themselves. So two different ends of this with a similar story about misconduct or possible misconduct. But I think fascinating when you look at the two speedy receivers.
And just how if you need receiver, maybe it was a situation where someone tries to trade. He's 4.21. I mean, again, blazing speeds. Do you trade up in the first round to get Isaiah Bond? Now do you? Just based on, again, it's a fascinating read on what teams know, what they don't, what's public, what's not. How about all the mic'd up footage and behind-the-scenes looks we have recently? We'll start with Bill Belichick. Here he is, spring practice for the UNC Tar Heels.
We got one-on-one. Mondo, we got to get the gloves on these guys. Just holding on every play, usually twice. Hey, good route. That's the right idea.
Look at it.
It's close. Good job on the split safeties. Yeah. We hit them in no huddle. We hit them here. Well, at least we're throwing the ball to the right place. Second down. We're live. Tackle in front. Tackle in front. This is live. It's live. Tackle in front. Stay off the quarterback.
We'll do it live.
This is a run. You don't want me to hit him from the side, do you?
No, just we know you got him. Get on the sideline. Tag off. Tag off. Stay off the quarterback. Tag off on the runners. This is not live. This is not live, but we're competing here.
He's not leaving June 1st. You know, all that talk about if he leaves after June 1st. That dude loves coaching, man.
No, he does. My review, though, of the video and what we actually heard in it, boring as hell.
Well, hang on. My review is
boring as hell. Like most of my takeaway of the video is him going, "Hey, it's live. Tackle up front. It's live, live." And then the next one, it's not live, not live.
My review is
not live.
It's a world of difference between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the New England Patriots.
Yeah,
there's a big gap there, Chad.
I also think that this is just what coaching kind of sounds like. You know, this is just in the weeds coaching we're hearing from Belichick. I'm not trying to compare myself to Bill Belichick, but if you mic me up for softball practice, it would probably also be boring as hell.
This is live
because it's just me. Hey, we're live. How many outs?
This is live,
2
guys.
outs. All right, we're live.
Look alive.
Be ready for the bunt.
Look
That's
alive.
what you're going to hear on the video, and it's not going to be that exciting.
Here's Deshawn Watson. He's the only person that has not given up on Deshawn Watson.
You know, the performance comes when, your back is against the wall. It comes better because you kind of got to really lock in. You don't have anything pretty much to lose. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Everyone's doubting me. Everyone don't believe in me. Everyone don't think that I can get back to where I was. But I know and I believe the work that I put in, what I believe in myself, the peace that I've been, channeling these last couple months. I know I'm going to be way better than before. I'm prepared. And I think before I wasn't prepared because, I was kind of going with the flow of how the world was seeing me. But, when you kind of get knocked down to the ground and you got to stand back up and walk through the rain, that brings out another fire, another challenge, another grit that you have inside. And the biggest thing is really just mental. My mentality, the things that I got to deal with the outside and not taking everything personal like I mentioned before. Taking everything and just bringing it full force and really just standing in front of it face to face. The challenges, the adversity, whatever comes with it, gonna come with it. But as long as I'm doing it my way, I'm cool. I can live with that.
He could live with that. Hey, here's what I'm thinking.
What was that video? Facts on, what did it say on the end of it? It has like something on the end of the video.
Oh, I didn't see what it said.
I don't even know. Who produced that video? Was that his team?
It certainly looked like a Deshaun Watson production.
Deshaun, you think it was a Watson production?
Well, I mean, he granted access to
Fincher
it.
didn't direct that.
Oh, I know the Browns didn't do it.
No, but he's in the Browns facility. There's Browns logos in the background.
They have to give him access to that.
Yeah.
He could go work out there. He's probably, also having checkups on the Achilles, and that's where he's having his medical stuff done. But
we got to get the ability to throw the mic back to our team at some point because I'd love to get Tyler Castle's response to this as a Browns fan. Yeah. Because if I'm a Browns fan,
he's shaking his head no back there.
If I'm a Browns fan watching this, I'm thinking,
Deshaun,
man, we had plenty of time and plenty of chances for you to get it in your head that people were doubting you.
Well,
and that now's the time to shine. And you've had plenty of opportunities to overcome adversity. And all you've done is repeatedly sucked for our organization.
Well, all he's done is blame the media for how he's being portrayed whenever he was portrayed in a great light prior to anything that happened at the end of his Houston tenure in 2019, 2020. Let me add, or 2020, 2021. I'll also add in, I'm kind of surprised that he's got this attitude about it. Like the PR, this is the PR push for his next landing spot. It's not going to be in Cleveland. I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't take his $250 million and get out of here. Are you? Just based on the sentiment that we've seen since he's been in Cleveland? Guaranteed money.
I'm looking at this from just a perspective of, first off, Cleveland Browns fans. This video sucks. I hate this video if I'm a Browns fan.
It's a rap video.
He was paid $250 million?
Guaranteed, yeah.
$250 million guaranteed to star for your organization that has had a hard time finding and or keeping a star quarterback. Hey, may have had one in Baker Mayfield, but he had to go to Tampa to become that and solidify it.
Yep.
But this has been your issue, and then you pay this money because this guy was that until it fell apart in the end in Houston and then all the accusations of the massage therapist and everything else. So that sucks if you're a Browns fan to watch that video. From Deshaun Watson's perspective, I mean, dude, it's not just people, people doubting me, all the haters out there, they're doubting me. They don't think I can get this done. I know I can get it done. Here's the deal, man. Your owner that had all the faith in you in the world to give you $250 million guaranteed to set you and your kids and their kids up for life. That's how much that owner believed in you. He signed that check. He okayed that transaction, that trade to get you and then sign you to that historic deal. He doesn't believe in you anymore. This is how bad it's become. So even if you do miraculously come back from these injuries and whatever's going on in your head and everything else and become a productive NFL quarterback again, does not do any good for the Cleveland Browns because it's not going to happen in Cleveland. It's not. The owner has given up on you. They have admitted the mistake. That was you. You were the mistake, Deshaun. You. I got a big problem with that part of it.
I said 250 is 230. $230 million. Hey, the Browns
we didn't even give them $20 million more.
Yeah, my bad.
For that mistake, The
Browns did bring in Joe Flacco again. Does this mean they're not in the Kirk Cousins?
I saw the media responses like, boy, this is terrible news.
Get ready.
For Kirk Cousins and great news for Shedeur Sanders. Yeah.
Get ready for Shedeur.
That was every reaction I saw was bad for Kirk, great for Shedeur.
Bottom of the first round. Make it past 9.
Number 2, maybe.
Make it past 9.
They could take him number 2.
I would rather have. I'd rather have the guaranteed baller, Travis Hunter.
Well, if you're taking a quarterback, I just think if you're the Browns, like you're not in position. If you believe in Shedeur Sanders, take him at number 2. Like I don't want to play the game of trying to make everything work perfectly.
Well, you believe in him for the right spot. I believe in Travis Hunter. Wide receiver or corner. He'd play wide receiver in Cleveland.
Shedeur Sanders did an interview recently with NFL Network. And he really did get me thinking during that interview because he's like, I don't often listen to him. Like, man, guys are going to say what they're going to say about themselves, but he made some pretty good points. He's saying, it's just one thing after the next. Now my arm's not strong enough. Well, I threw this many touchdown passes. And, I don't have the escapability of some other guys. Well, I played behind an offensive line that often wasn't protecting me and had to escape a lot.
Right.
And he's like, it's one thing after the next.
I like Shedeur. I mean, I've said that why the Browns should draft him. I'd like it better paired with Travis Hunter, and then go make it happen. Shedeur throws for over 4,000 yards. The arm strength thing is a thing because of Cleveland's weather outdoors. That's what some are saying. But Stefanski's on record saying the arm strength is not an issue for him. Downfield arm strength, arm talent. Finally, Mike Vrabel. Here he is going viral.
Respect the team. Okay, respect the football team and the people that are here. Okay, the second one is, I'd like you to have, when we're in a meeting, I know what the style may be. Just pull your hood down in a meeting. That's all I ask. I just ask that when we're in a meeting, that we just pull our hood down and we go from there. Be on time. We just talked about time. Be on time. And if I can't be on time, Christian, what's the easiest thing to do? You would just call, right? That's called communicate. All you got to do is say, hey, something came up. I'm going to be a little bit late. Now, after about 4 or 5 times, that starts wearing off, This is just a once in a while. All it is a respect thing, And the cell phones, We all got cell phones, Most of you have more than one, as a matter of fact. Just leave the cell phone in your bag, but just put the phone away, And if it rings, don't start coughing. Like, I've been in this league for 25 years. We all know when a cell phone goes off. We don't need to start coughing and doing that shit. We'll just turn it on and put it on silent, and we'll move on. Leave it in your bag. The cell phone's in the weight room, Leave it on the counter or leave it in your locker, You don't need to do a set and then check your cell phone. Do a set and check your cell phone. Just leave the cell phones out of the locker room.
This is just basic common sense stuff that I love from Mike Vrabel. I think everyone who runs an organization should just have some simple rules like this, common sense. I love the whole thing about, not having, don't do a set and then go back and check your cell phone. And I love it. I love it from
Just
Mike
pick up the phone
Vrabel.
and call if you're going to be late.
Don't cough.
Don't do it 5 times in a row.
I've been around this league for a while. I know the
Vrabel.
shit that you guys do when
Now,
because the phone goes off.
He's also going to be a lot more blue whenever training camp rolls around. Pads start popping. And he's got negative plays he can pull up.
Yep.
Get ready for that. Those are also go viral. Chad, also, speaking of viral, you're helping the algorithms.
I am?
With what you're watching.
Sweet.
It's time for What's Withrow Watching.
It's long been I keep waiting.
I know. We're never going to have it open for
I know. I keep waiting for it. I'm like,
pause. Hey, every week, let's just pause
Yeah.
for 10 seconds in silence as we wait on the,
All right, hold on.
open.
We're going to have a moment of silence for What's Withrow Watching.
Here is What's Withrow Watching.
And we're back.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for taking that
Love
moment
the
of
theme
silence
music
with
here.
us. Yeah, it's great. Maybe we get a movie clip at some point. I don't know. What's Withrow watching this week? There's a lot of choices for me right now. Now, I've heard from some people, it's like, man, do you do anything other than sit around and watch television? I've had people ask this. The answer is yes. I have to do a lot.
He's totally making these up.
Yeah, I do a lot. Now, here's how much I watch. I don't watch things during the day unless I'm eating. Okay? So as part of What's Withrow watching, I do want to explain kind of my process. Like, I'm home during the day getting ready for this show and doing other things that I need to do for me to consistently live my life, okay? Could be going to a workout class, could be doing something for parenting my 2 children, could be running an errand, could be doing whatever. The same things that you and everyone else out there. I'm a common man. The same thing that all of you would do during the day. I only turn the television on while I'm eating breakfast or lunch. So when I'm doing that, I like to watch food shows. I will have a special category of What's Withrow watching that will just be the food shows that I watch while eating breakfast or lunch at some point. But that's not what I'm doing here. But to those who say, oh, man, all this guy does is sit around and watches TV all the time. I really don't. I spend about 20 minutes on YouTube, and I'll usually watch movie trailers or TV trailers during that time, or clips of this show or others to get ready for the day. And then at night, I will probably watch one show with my wife, and then I will watch one episode or a half of an episode on my own. But in doing this, if you get the nights right, you can watch a show or an episode slowly and go through the season. I'm not binging something over the course of a weekend, ever. I can't tell you the last time I've done that. So I'm not some derelict that does nothing but watches TV. I just wanted to put that out there for any of you that thought otherwise. Now, on to my 4 things that I'm watching this week.
Now we find out what is Withrow watch this week.
Number 4 on the list.
Number 12.
We'll start in the 90s, as we know. Number 4, this will take you all of 2 minutes and 38 seconds to watch. It's Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, the latest trailer that's out. It's terrific. It's got everything.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of action. It's got a lot of Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is my guy. He could make 45 of these Mission Impossible films. I would watch every single one of them in the theater. I will go to the theater to watch this one. I watched the last one in the theater twice because I did that MDX experience a second time where your seat shakes and they put water on you in the theater over the course of it. Would not recommend that, especially when hungover, which I was when I went to it. I would dissuade you from doing that. But this trailer looks awesome. I love when trailers pay homage to the past. And what this trailer does a great job of, it opens with some of the better missions from past Mission Impossible movies. And it kind of goes into, it's like someone in the government being briefed on Ethan Hunt, who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy broke into CIA headquarters. This guy fended off this explosion at the Louvre and all these different things that he's done in the movies.
Yeah.
And they're in disbelief that it actually happened with one person. And the music is slowly playing as it goes along also. It's terrific. Highly recommend. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning trailer. We'll go quick, Hutton, because we got a special guest we're going to get to in studio here momentarily. Number 3 on my list of what I'm watching, the 1923 finale. All right? This show was nonstop horror throughout. Like, if you want to feel absolutely shitty about your life, then go and watch the show. Because
go to the year 1923.
It is one atrocity after another. There were multiple rapes over the course of this season.
God.
Multiple kinky sex scenes featuring a former James Bond, Timothy Dalton, in it. There was people being frozen to death. lots of shootings, lots of things going on in Montana in 1923 that's you can't even speak of.
You're selling the show.
But by the end, Hutton, I mean, it's a snuff film, as I've said before, throughout. But by the end, it kind of poetically pays off. I was blown away by the ending and how it tied up all the storylines. And I'm excited to announce there will be a season 3 of 1923, but the show is now going to be called 1944. They're going to skip ahead 21 years. So season 3 will become 1944.
I can't keep up with this, man.
I'm back in. I'm back in to the entire Dutton family. I'm back into the story, 1923. Number 2, a show that it launched today on Apple TV+. Your Friends and Neighbors. John Hamm and a huge cast. And John Hamm plays a very rich New Yorker who loses his job and starts to rob his rich neighbors in some rich suburb of New York City. So I have not seen it yet.
Yeah.
But with the cast and the trailer for it, looks really good. So I'm in on that. And number 1 on Max, big fan of comedy. We're about to talk comedy coming up. Hacks Season 4. Gene Smart, Hannah Einbender, terrific show. Season 4 of it. It just follows a stand-up comic and her writer, and they're very different. And that leads to a lot of comedic situations that I find enjoyable, Hut. And I watched Season 1 last night. Watched Episode 1 of Season 4. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So Hacks Season 4.